Okay, a lot of you know that I'm a fan of You Need a Budget, or YNAB for short. And they published a blog post recently. I'm going to share it on my screen with 20 new money New Year's resolutions for 2021 and how to stick to them. And I was going to share this post with you and add some colorful commentary to it to help you figure out like what money changes you want to make in the new year and how to actually make them. The FIFE movement take on the YNAB's list here. So thanks for joining me. Welcome to the FIFE movement. I'm your host, Amanda Neely. This is the only movement that helps you create your unique feminine and entrepreneurial path toward financial independence. Now, if anything, I want to look at these ideas for New Year's resolutions in the lens of feminine and entrepreneurial, and as these resolutions might help you get toward financial independence. One very important thing is that you do not want 20 or 21 of these. You might want to pick one or maybe two at the most. Um, think about what would be most helpful to you, see what kind of sparkles or shimmers. Maybe even pick what you think would be the hardest one to do if you're up for the challenge, or maybe the easiest one to do if you're like, maybe I'll actually make a resolution I'll stick with. Okay. Or maybe just think of these as ideas, not resolutions, but ideas for how you might improve your journey going forward. So here we go. Thank you, Rachel Allen, for Ellen for posting these and giving us some food to chew on. So, the first thing they have is a month-long money challenge. YNAB puts together this 30-day reset challenge to help you think about what you're spending, what do you need versus what do you want. And they throw in this no eating out, no exceptions. You have to make all your food yourself and try this for 34 days. What they found is that on average, people save about $1,000 that then you can use toward another goal. Great idea whether or not you're going to participate in their specific challenge or not. But if you're not currently tracking your spending, every single dollar that you spend, great idea to try it for a month and see how you like it. If you've never tried it before, you might actually like it. And if you use an app like YNAB, you might like it better than maybe how you've tried it before, pen and paper or spreadsheet wise. Um, and then kind of go from there. I think I like that number one here of tracking your spending every dollar. I've been doing that for 7 years and it's been super, super helpful. Okay. Number two, pay off your credit card debt in 2021. Great idea, especially if those credit cards have really high interest. Might be helpful to make a plan. One of the things that I like to do is with clients that have credit card debt is pull actual numbers for how long is it going to take me to pay this off. If this is my debt, here's my interest rate, here's how much I'm paying per month. There are calculators online that will tell you here's how long it's going to take. So you can fact check whether you can actually pay off your card or not, and develop a whole strategy around it. Um, if you're one of those people that plays the 0% interest game, you might figure out how to pay it off before the 0% expires or something like that. But yeah, typically a good idea to pay off your credit card debt. But maybe you do that in a way that's a little more unique than just putting it straight toward your credit card debt. Look for past episodes where we've talked about paying off debt for more information about those. Okay, break a vice. Vices can be really expensive. I love this one to, say I'm done with this vice and to crush it. Now, be careful here. There's a fine line between a vice and something that brings you joy. Do not break anything that brings you true joy, but maybe take some time to think about what is bringing joy and what has become a vice. Peanut butter for me at one point was totally a vice. So, uh, have fun with that. Pay off your car loan. I personally don't have a car loan, but maybe if you do, you could think about that, especially because that could really impact your cash flow on a monthly basis. Now, that car loan could also be a pretty low interest rate. So you want to think about whether it makes sense to actually save um, anything that you would throw on top of your car loan, right, to save that in a place where it's going to grow by more interest in the car loan. Something to think about there. Um, because also when you pay off that car, you might need a new one, and if you don't have anything saved, you're going to have to go back into debt to buy that next car. So maybe instead of paying extra on the debt, you start saving for that next car, get some growth on that money, more than the interest rate, and then you're able to buy the next car in cash and never have to go into debt to buy a car again. Wouldn't that be a really cool goal to set? Instead of pay off your car loan, say, be able to buy my next car in cash and never have to take a car loan again. Boom. Okay. Break the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Huge one here. If you start tracking every dollar that you spend, you're going to start moving toward breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle. So be really awesome if that was your goal, to be able to save more each month, and so that you're able to not be living paycheck to paycheck. Love it. Find a new computer slash phone, or fund a new computer slash phone before your old one dies. I think this is kind of what I was talking about with the car. Maybe instead of paying extra on some really low interest debt, you start saving money aside so that you never have to go into debt for that next thing that you're going to need, whether it be a car, computer, a phone, a vacation, whatever it is. Saving is really important, and not a lot of people put an emphasis on paying off debt, but not a lot of emphasis on saving. So I'm glad they threw in number 6 here. Refinance your mortgage. Maybe that's a possibility for you. The Definitely dig into that if that's something you're thinking about. Build wealth. This is super important. This is where we're not just saving, but we're putting that saving to work to see it grow. And have your money working for you, building true wealth that will last generations. Big check here is to make sure that you're actually building wealth for yourself and not putting it at risk. Unless you already have some wealth built and you've got some extra that you can put at risk, but you don't want to put money at risk that you don't want to lose. Save $1,000 for a rainy day. Very important if you're saving for your future to be saving for emergencies as well. I don't know about, I actually, number 10, let's get the full employer match in your 401k. Yeah, good idea. Even though you know that we're safe money experts and we're not a huge fan of investing in the stock market, getting the match on your 401k, generally a good idea. Cut your student loan payment term in half. If you have a really high interest rate on your student loans, maybe a good idea, but refer back to when I was talking about setting money aside that could grow more than the interest on your debt. And you could always pay off your debt anytime you want to do. That's actually how I paid off my student debt. Was instead of putting extra to my student debt, I put money into um, a another place that is part of this bank on yourself concept that we use and love. And then we were able to use not our cash, but use our cash as leverage to then pay off our student loans and then pay that back to ourselves at a super low interest, even lower than what our student loans were, and on our own schedule. So be a little creative there. Again, go back to some of our videos about and episodes about paying off debt. Pay for someone else's groceries. I love this idea of being generous. If you have an idea for a goal or a resolution to be more generous, I love it. Whether that's buying the person behind you's grocery at the store and kind of random acts of kindness, whether that is giving to charity, great idea. Don't eat out for a month. This might work for you. A lot of us have already been eating at home a lot this year, or in 2020. Have fun, especially after, like they say, a treat-filled December might be a good reset for your health as well, and your wallet for January, or whatever month. Um, Save up for that dream vacation, pay for it in cash. Definitely don't go into debt for that. Love it. Open a Roth IRA. I'm not so sure about this. There might be a Roth alternative. You might Google Rich Man's Roth or check out one of our episodes about Roth IRAs and how they compare with a concept called infinite banking or bank on yourself. That could be your Roth alternative. Give more away. Again, being more generous. I love that. Part of what's helped me want to grow my revenue is that I can be more generous as well. And when I'm thinking about making more money, I'm often actually thinking, well, that will just allow me to give more away. Love it. If you got an old 401k, I love this idea of revisiting where it is, what it's doing for you, rolling it over, maybe something with lower fees or maybe even no fees, doing something. Great idea, especially if you have multiple, you can get them all into one. We help people with that all the time. If you want to chat about that, please let me know. Do a debt sprint. Maybe you get really super focused about paying off your debt, especially if you have high interest debt. That can be really important to do. Grant some of your wishes. I love this. If there's something that you've been really wanting for a long time and it's a really big priority for you, make it a category in your YNAB or set aside dollars for it and make it happen. Be sure it's something that brings you lots of joy. And then pay off 0% interest loans. Something to think about. Refer back to all the other things I've been talking about in this episode. Then they talk about how to make your New Year's resolution stick. Do it with a friend. I'd love to be your friend. Please share with me what you want your money to be doing for you this year. Either put it in the comments of this video. If you're watching on YouTube, send me an email, amanda@fifemovement.com. Let me know what they are. Maybe try one of YNAB's debt boot camps or the 34-day reset, or maybe try another community. I don't know. Do it together with other people. Also, make everything automatic. I love this. Take yourself out of the equation, make things that you don't even have to think about, it just happens. And then, keep your goals manageable, right? If you're going to do a whole month of tracking your spending, maybe that's too much. Maybe you start with 1 week, right? Or if you want to cut your credit cards like down to zero by the end of the year, maybe you say, well, I'm going to do, this much the first month, something like that. Like make it not just this big year thing, but something you can do in a short time frame, a week or a month, something like that. And then, of course, write it down. That's super helpful. There's all kinds of data and research behind writing it down. Okay, that's my take on 20 money resolutions for your new year for 2021. Hope you found this helpful. Let me know again in the comments what you're thinking about for your money for 2021 and anything you'd like for me to talk about this year on the show. Thanks for joining me and connecting with the FIFE movement. As you go about your day today, remember wealth is coming your way. Your quest is to prepare for using it well. For more tips on how to prepare, please be sure to subscribe. And to connect with the community, visit fifemovement.com. If this list has been helpful for you today, please pay that gift forward and share this content with a friend. My gratitude in advance. Which one of these 20 did you like the most or not like the least? Please let me know in the comments. Other ideas, what your plans are for this year, I'd love to hear those. And be sure to like the video as well. Take care.